people that amongst all Southern Cameroonians and Ambazonians aggrieved, nobody bears the pain of having lost very loved ones, like Cyprian Zivizin, or having children kidnapped by terrorist government acts and taken to locations unknown to mothers, to family members, or even friends. We know that mothers having carried each of us for 9 months have a very special place in their hearts for every one of us, no matter how many children they have. The head of state then said, let all Takambans, let all our mothers, all our women in every single district, every single zone in our country, every single county, and in locations around the globe, come out in their numbers, remembering the power of the Takambans in the days of the 90s, remembering the force with which they could send a message, and even the live bullets from the guns of, ready to shoot soldiers, have no choice but to respect and fear the power with which our women carry themselves naturally. The head of state then said this is an hour when our women have to come out in their numbers, our Takambans, our mothers in their numbers, and take on every United Nations office. Every United Nations office around the globe. And that begins from the United Nations office in occupier's land, Yaoundé. Yes, our compatriots in the United States have mobilized themselves, and they will be doing a 5,000 march to the United Nations, and particularly on the 22nd of September, a day that we consider to be very significant. We ask all our people, all men, all boys, all girls, to support the Takambans. Support them as they have requested to take on the world stage and send a message to the world that Ambazonians have had enough. In the homeland, we thank our patriotic Okada army. We've watched the work of our patriotic Okada armies across our homelands in ensuring that the pronouncements that would lead to the restoration of our statehood is respected. The head of state and the governing council asked that as our Takambans march on to the GO's office, senior divisional officers' offices, offices of governors, let all Okada drivers, let them march side by side with them. Marching side by side with them with green leaves, leaves of peace, but passing a very strong message to this brutal occupier that we want our children back home. We want Mancho BBC back home now, not tomorrow. We want Penn Terrence back home now, not tomorrow. We want all our children, our husbands, locked up in your bunkers, in your jails, in your hideouts, to be released with immediate effect. The head of the governing council sent a message to our people. And those of you listening, please make sure that this message reaches every village, every town, every concentration of our people. Wherever there is knowledge of an Ambazonian citizen missing, especially over the last 10 to 11 months, please make sure you send an email to admin@scacuf.org. Make sure you reach out to the governing council. We have been putting a list of all those of our people who remain missing. We remember the lady at the governor's office in Bamenda, at the colonial administrator's office, who, upon realizing that her son had not been released, fell on tar and continued rolling and cried until she could cry no more. We cannot allow this to continue to happen. We cannot allow this government to continue to terrorize our people. We must come out and support our mothers. We must come out and support the Takambans. We must make the world know through the Takambans that indeed our people have had enough, and that the right to self-determination is an inalienable right. It is a right we stand for, it's a right we're fighting for, and it is a right we'll continue to defend, even if it means killing all of us to the last man. We will continue and fight on until Amber land is free. So we call upon the government of La Republique du Cameroon to go online and look at the list of people declared missing from the governing council. Do a tick list. Tick that against what you have in your jails. And if any of our people are not on our list and are currently not in jail, we will assume that they have been brutally killed. They've been murdered. They are in your bunkers. We ask upon you to account for them. And those to Manchester, BBC, Pentarents, and all our people are released, and all the missing ones accounted for. The governing council would want to use this opportunity to hail the brave warriors of Kumbu, to hail the brave warriors of Boy County. We're very proud of you, for indeed you understand the way liberty demands upon every one of us Ambazonians to stand out of the crowd and defend what is right, to stand for justice and shun injustice at all costs. We have declared that we will not stop. We will stop at nothing until Amberland is free. So let Yaoundé know that as they continue to shoot upon our people with live bullets, the international community is watching. The people are watching. And the direct effect of your brutal acts is converting thousands and thousands of Ambazonian citizens who used to sympathize with you, those that were still federalist or unionist. So yes, the crowd of nationalists is swelling by the day. And we will not miss this opportunity to again pay a minute of silence of condolences. In the Amba tradition, all for one, one for all. An injury to one is an injury to all. Your pain is our pain. And we are very saddened that as we celebrated the Passover on the 4th of September and declared all our people must stay at home so that they could be safe, because we did not want to lose even the hair, even a hair. Gendarmes chose that day to fall on the village of Mbam Kifem and indeed unleashed that trademark of brutality, breaking down doors, stealing and shooting our people. We want to send a message to Yaoundé that nowhere in the world has brutality overcome the power of a very determined people. You can see for yourself that the killing of these very innocent ones has radicalized Bowie County. It has angered the people of Bowie County. It has incited that hunger for freedom and unstoppable hunger that has moved out of Bowie County into all the counties of our land, into Boyu, Bowie, Momo, into Manyu, Lebielem, Dian, Kupe Maningoba, Dongo Mantum, in all our counties. People are now more determined more than ever before to stand for justice, to defend the land, and ensure that on the 1st of October, Amber land is free. Let it be known to those of you asking what are we going to do on that day. We will declare the restoration of the independence of our statehood. We will declare Amber land free. We will declare it a land of freedoms and liberties as sung out of our national anthem, and we will defend it. So the responsibility of every Ambazonian citizen is to remember that it is a national duty to declare and defend the restoration of our independence. That is a word from the Governing Council. His Excellency Sisiko Ayoktabe, by that encouragement to all our people, he says you should stand firm. He says continue to defy the occupier, continue the resistance. Yes, this is a time for all of us to sacrifice, for nothing good comes without sacrifice. Let's continue it, because what we are doing is legitimate. It is legal. We are on the right side of justice. History will remember us that we did this not for our own glory and our sake, but for the sake of our land, for the sake of our children, the children unborn. His Excellency says, courage brothers, courage sisters, courage mothers, courage fathers, that with your determination and resolve that you have demonstrated over the last 2 weeks, not to stop us from liberating our land. People of our country, we continue to celebrate the Passover as your whistles hovered across our land, as the white pieces of cloth tied on everything signified an end to the lordship of the Yaoundé regime over our people. We continue to thank our business community for the weeks, shutting down your shops as you are requested in defiance, in order to show to this government that you don't take orders from them, you take orders from the Governing Council, and that this is the hour when we all sacrifice because our freedom is near. From the Governing Council, fellow citizens, we say thank you. And to all parents, teachers, to all people of school-going age pupils and students, we continue to salute you, we continue to celebrate you. Your staying at home is the right thing at this hour. You must remember that there is a difference, like Sisiko said, between going to school and being educated. We are tired of our people being miseducated. We are tired of our people being mistaught. We are tired of our people being misled and driven into a future that has no promise. We have promised that the educational package we have for you will make sure that you not only get the best quality education, but you are ready for 21st century job places. We assure our people that it's a terrible thing when you have a teacher in class teaching you in a language they don't understand. And as a spokesperson, I can give you an example. This is a realistic example. As I implemented a project in Namibia, one of the African countries, delegates I had in front of me were Portuguese delegates. And here we had 2 facilitators. One spoke in English and the other in Portuguese. And one of the delegates came to me and said, I'm very concerned when you say something which is very technical. Your interpreter, because that interpreter speaks English but does not understand the fundamentals, interprets that into Portuguese and says something completely different. I'm saying this because I know some of our people think that we're imagining things. You cannot be a teacher teaching people. You are not. We would like you to remember that your children are being mistaught. And to those of you who have chosen to take your children to La Republique, we would want to advise you, as we advised you before the 4th of September, that it's very dangerous when you take your own children, your eggs, and put them in the mouth of a lion. We, however, believe that our people, this is for our kids, and that our kids understand this, and that indeed the future is promising. It will be worth it. These sacrifices will not go in vain. I want to re-emphasize a message of thanks that the leader of our revolution sent to the security forces of La Republique du Cameroon, and to be very precise, to some of them, some gendarmes, some police, and some armies, some in the army, some Ambazonian citizens, and some citizens of La Republique du Cameroon. Because indeed in every society there are good people. His Excellency in the governing council with classified intelligence, which explains why there's no move that the La Republique du Cameroon government can take without us knowing ahead of time. That's why we knew millions were voted to buy live bullets to come and kill our people. That's why we knew that more than 1,000 military personnel had been deployed into our villages and towns, and many more were being recalled from Boko Haram war zones. We want to thank you and ask you to continue to do that. For injustice anywhere on this planet, is injustice everywhere. It is your responsibility not to turn a blind eye when injustice is being perpetrated on any fellow human being. We thank you so much for that. To people of Ambazonia, you heard it from His Excellency SCACUF himself, that the people of Ambazonia now have a Department of Defense. A Department of Defense. So yes, indeed, we have a Department of Defense in place. And the role of the Department of Defense, one, is to defend its people, and two, to defend its territory. While we continue to emphasize that our struggle remains non-violence, the best strategy used by many people to take out occupiers and dictators. We'd like to send a message to Yaoundé and to our people that by international law it is your right to defend yourself. Self-defense is an inalienable right. You have a right to defend yourself by any means possible when under attack. We continue to insist that while dialogue in a foreign country, with the key mediator being the United Nations, becomes the best way forward. Ambazonians will never cower out again. That's why the resistance is across board in almost every home, every village, and every city. Let Yaoundé know that the days of its arrogance are now over. Let Yaoundé know that the days of it forcing its corruption, its nepotism, its underdevelopment, its undemocratic practices, its hopelessness are over for Southern Cameroonians. Southern Cameroonians have rejected a country that depends on strong people. You have heard it severally from our leadership that in Ambazonia there will be no room for strong people. There will be no room for people to abuse systems, to abuse government structures for selfish reasons. We will put in place very strong institutions. There will be serious separation of power. The leader of the people of Ambazonia will be a normal citizen like you and me. If they commit crimes, they'll be tried in our courts. If they are found guilty, they will be locked up in jail. We will never live again in a country where petty criminals are caught up and locked up for so many years, while grand prisoners parade as state officials and what have you. Citizens of our land, the Governing Council, through His Excellency SCACUF, made a special call to 3 classes of people in our society. He sent a message to these people to remember that they are the representative of the people, and that if they had doubted the people's resolve to restore their stolen independence, he hopes that the Passover of the 4th of September and the ghost towns of last Monday to Wednesday and this week's Monday to Wednesday send a very clear message to our chiefs, to our parliamentarians, and to our senators, that indeed the people have moved on, that the bridge that binded these 2 countries, these 2 peoples, has been broken, and that bridge cannot be repaired. The Governing Council and funds to remember that in the southern Cameroons there was a House of Chiefs. You truly represented the voice of you, and the voice of your people have said, away with La République du Cameroon, come back home to Ambazonia, let's build our country, so that we can stop the suffering, stop the looting, and stop the hopelessness. His Excellency is hoping that the wisdom that was bestowed upon you at enthronement will again return to you, because La République has desecrated a lot of our thrones. We ask in chiefs and funds, come back home and lead your people to freedom. Come back home so that Yaoundé knows that indeed you represent the voice of your people. For any chief or fund who will of the people of that community and stands with the occupier is worse than the murderers, than the criminals who loot, kill, and shoot our people. The Governing Council, through His Excellency, sent a clear message to parliamentarians and senators of the Ambazonian extraction, whether of the SDF or of the CPDM. Come back home. The question the Governing Council continues to ask you is, what are you still doing in the so-called glass house in Yaoundé? Who are you representing? Who are you representing? So if our parliamentarians truly understand what representation is, let them do the right thing. Let them follow in the footsteps of our parliamentarians in 1954 of the Enugu House of Assembly, and that established the state of the Southern Cameroons and allowed us to have prime ministers after every election as possible democracy that any country on this continent time. So this is a firmer message more than ever before to all parliamentarians and to all senators who represent us in those La République houses. Don't represent our people. If you continue to go to those houses, you must remember that you are representing yourself. You are representing a selfish position. You stand to defend, and you indeed might not be representing the majority of people in your house. Let our parliamentarians, senators, funds, and chiefs know that we are not joking. That never has there been a time in the history of a people where all classes of people, professionals and non-professionals, buy-am sellers and Okada drivers, taxi drivers and workers, all people of a land stood up as one man and So indeed, this is the greatest demonstration of people power. We don't know what else you want to see, but the message is now clearer more than ever before as we march on in just a few days into come back to Boya, come back home, so that we can together build an Ambazonia free from attacks, which is free from fear, which is free from abductions, which is free from kidnappings by governments. Come back home where you can be a free citizen, where you are not a criminal just because you're an Ambazonian. Because every Ambazonian citizen, especially in the homelands, as well as those in La Republic de Cameroon, see themselves as a criminal. You never know if dawn will meet you without you having been kidnapped, abducted as a terrorist or common criminal and taken to unknown locations. We're telling the government in Yaoundé that this must stop, and any of our representatives that continue to work with them is perpetrating the same acts like them. You cannot turn your face when there is that is as good as supporting such injustice. Citizens of our land, you read a letter dated the 2nd of May from the government of the United Kingdom. While we are still investigating the authenticity of that letter, we want to send a very clear message that the restoration of the independence of the Southern Cameroons depends on the Cameroons and Ambazonia. We will declare, and the people to declare independence for us. Let it be known that on the 21st of April 1961, it was voted by a massive majority that the people of the South will have independence on the 1st of October, and such independence was stolen, kidnapped people. So the restoration of our independence is something that depends on our people, depends on us. It doesn't depend on France in Britain. It doesn't even depend on the United. A message to the United Nations is to continue and finish the work that they did not finish in 1961. And of course, the United Kingdom was meant to prepare us for independence. We're telling the United Kingdom into a union. Most of the times there is a union certificate. Show us a union treaty. You know, and we know it doesn't exist. When you get into a marriage, there's a marriage certificate. If that marriage is not working, if you realize you are not safe, you can be killed in that marriage, do you not have a right to pull out? Didn't the UK pull out of the European Union? So if you can pull out of the European Union, what stops the Ambazonian people out of an illegal union with La Republic de Cameroon when their interest is not being safeguarded? So I want to send a message to our people not to be distracted messaging. The messaging could be coming from propaganda forces in La Republic de Cameroon and others. But let it be known that in the land of Ambazonia, national dominated by a scary majority, and that our people are ready and nothing is going to stop us. So yes, a march to the restoration of our statehood is unstoppable. There is no turning back. We declared enough is enough. Yes, indeed. Nothing will stop us until we get to bed. Citizens of our land, we call upon you to continue to sacrifice. We have never promised that we are walking the path, but it would require you and me to do the extraordinary. It would require all of us, from the governing council, the executive council, in all our movements, in Morris, in SCACUF, in the SCNC, in the Republic of Ambazonians, in AGC, in the Southern Cameroons Youth League, in all our other formations in different parts of the globe and back at home will require all of us to put in extraordinary sacrifice. And when the people put in an extraordinary sacrifice, nothing can stop them. So nothing will stop us. We've demonstrated that over the last 10 months. So fellow citizens of Ambaland, from the Governing Council, His Excellency, Patasang, Pafo Fongala, Fongoji Dinka, and all our leaders, we salute you. Remember that the days are counting, the clock is ticking, and in every county, in every village, in every zone, expect our people to stand up and defend their freedom, just like the brave warriors of Bowie country have done. And when you do that, remember, as ultimate battle, there is no to fight war with La Republic du Cameroon. The government called upon citizens of La Republic du Cameroon that are peace-loving, that have dug into our history and understand that Ambazonians are correct, they're doing the, and have a right to defend what is theirs. We call upon these citizens of the Republic of Cameroon to rise up against the terrorist government, that rise up against them and go on the streets and support Ambazonians. There is no secret that we support men, that over the past many months you have not done that. But let it be known from the people of Ambazonia that we do not have a problem with you. We want to go back to the pre-colonial boundaries, national law, respect them, so we can live side by side. As when peaceful resistance is made impossible by a brutal regime, violent resistance is made inevitable. Like Honorable Weaver said, when injustice becomes law, resistance becomes a duty. So the people of Ambazonia will continue to resist until Ambazonia is free. Citizens of our land, we thank you for all your sacrifices, all of you in the homeland, all of you in the diaspora. We call upon you to continue to sacrifice, but a lot of money is required. We thank you for the support you give in the Governing Council, His Excellency Sisiku Ayoktabe and his delegation, as they move from country to country doing wonderful diplomatic work. Every single Ambazonian citizen in the homelands and in the diaspora plays their part. There is no reason why will not be as short and very short like anybody can even imagine. As I close, let's remember that Ambaland will be a land of liberties and freedom. Let's remember real that ours is to build a country where people can dream again, a country which is truly developmental, democratic, and a country where citizens have the power, where citizens have a right to hold leaders accountable. And when leaders cannot deliver, call to book and replaced by those that can advance the cause of making Ambazonia a very unique country and global stage. On that note, ladies and gentlemen, I thank you. God bless Ambazonia. God bless the Southern Cameroons. God bless Milton Taka, SCACUF spokesperson for Africa, sitting in for Comrade Willie Governor for Europe, who unfortunately could not come on tonight as indicated because of conditions beyond his control. And now open room for our prayers hour, and tell us what is happening wherever you are in the homeland or in the diaspora. Tell us about what's happening to the ghost towns, what's happening as our people rally themselves and are looking forward to the 1st of October. What are you doing in your different communities? And if there are any questions, we will always be very glad, as we've always done that from the governing council, provide you with answers. Thank you. You look at the screens, and you may now call into studio. If you want to address your people, feel very free to do that. But keep your contribution short. Remember to tone down the volume of your receiver so that we can hear you clearly. Thank you, Ambazonians. Thank you, Southern Cameroonians. Thank you, viewers. The lines are now open. The lines are not. Look at the numbers on the screen. Make a comment. His Excellency Sisiko Ayuk and his entourage are currently in the U.S. as we speak. We thank our compatriots. We're looking forward to your great show at the United Nations on the 22nd of September. Our lines are up. In Tuba, in Babesi, in Mundemba, in Guti, in Fosimonji, we say thank you. To our people in Awut, in Bengi, in Misaje, in Kumbu, in Fontaine, in Oku, in Moyoka, in Bel, we say thank you. To our people in Abakwa, Bamenda, in K-Town, Kumba, in Guinea, in Victoria, we say thank you. We say thank you. Our lines are open as we celebrate your resolve to get the occupier packing free our land for us again. We continue to thank our people in Idabato, in Jinicom, in Matutu, in Fundong, in Nga, in Noni, in Sanje. We say thank you. Our lines are open. Call into studio. Let's know what your preparations are towards Restoration Day. To our brave warriors in Kumbo, Ambazonians are very grateful. To brave warriors in Kumbo, we thank you again. We understand your pain. We understand between the We know our people have suffered enough, and that if the world turns more often, days towards our restoration get closer, we'll have an interface where we can hear from you, because it is your voices that define and determine where this struggle is going. Thank you and good night.
Ambazonians, land of freedom, you shall live in plenty, meeting our need, and your children shall be like the stars above. The Most High God being the watchman of this nation. Ambazonians, land of freedom, you shall live in plenty, meeting our need, and your children shall be like the stars above. The Most High God.
It's been a good talk. I'll be here again tomorrow, the same time. So we think go ahead and just crash out some few things and just talk. But if you want a more shout out, please drop your name in the comment section and we'll go right ahead and shout you out. Abu Free, Wally on the move. Amba Wiba, Siri, Nancy, Diana, how you doing? Raisa Tuntang, how you doing? Thank you very much for watching the show.
Je sais que tu es fatigué, je ne veux pas toucher, je veux sauveter, regarder, voyager.
And if you never like the page, go ahead and like our page and follow